You try for
Greg, we switched
say
the
names
names.
annually or.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
One video.
Once if there's anything that is outside of the limit.
Yeah.
Start taking my own notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Your life.
All right, call me in order. There we go. Start off with pledge allegiance, Mr. Leonard, would you lead us on, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, please.
Miller,
Here.
Craig,
Here.
Frank, here. Leonard.
Here.
Edie,
Here.
Ennis,
Here.
Beavers.
Yo. Public comments, broad or nearby. Okay. Consent agenda, city council meetings from the last meeting, September. The bills and check dispersion. Do we need to review those or can we do a consent agenda? Have a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll support that. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Moving on. God damn it. All right, quarterly budget updates. Any questions? Any questions on the updates? How about a motion to approve?
I'll make my motion to approve.
You have a second. Second. Okay, now we have discussion. You had a question?
You said, what did you say, quarterly budget update? Okay, that's. I must have a different download.
Yeah, it's the newest one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
uploaded and downloaded
Okay.
that 20 times today. So.
That's all right.
Unfortunately, I even did it from the time I printed.
We went over that in the finance. It was just showing what percentage of the budget has been used so far. Since we're 1 quarter into our fiscal year. Yeah, there was only one that was over budget, but that's because we're waiting for grant money to come in and then it'll be back in its range.
That was for the planning committee, master plan.
Is it typical to be high on some of these at this point in the year? Property taxes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the insurance, like that's an annual payment, so, or expense, so that's 93, shows 95% gone because we paid our annual and
Refunds at 97%.
What is refund?
Yeah.
101-000-687.
any refunds we get back from the state or the county. So I budgeted for 3,000 because it's, you don't know what you're gonna get. So we budget an average of what we've been getting the last 3 years, and I put that in there, and we're close to getting to that. 'Cause that's a revenue, it's not an expense, so. By the end of June 26, it could be 6,000, it could be 15,000, it could be. Just depends on what we get.
It's your sales tax discount for paying time in the hardware work.
Okay, any further discussion? Are you looking for an approval or just an update?
It's just not big.
Okay. Moving on to the next item. The offer from the Michigan Association of Planning and Master Plan and Zoning Ordinance. Easy.
Everybody's out of order now.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a different.
Okay. Is that not what we should be on?
Like. We're, this is Alan Edwin.
Alan
because
Edwin.
He's on line right now.
Okay.
Or
Edward.
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 I see that.
Side by side comparison.
They're still firm.
Hey guys,
Hello.
you got my name right the first time, and then you corrected it to the incorrect way. Easy way to remember it. It's alphabetical. A before E.
All right, so obviously there were some changes that they wanted to do, and they wanted to bring some information to us and see if we are able and willing to help pay for the project. Has a good comparison side by side to it. If you want to go more in depth on it, I know more than I do.
Are you kicking it over to me?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. I just had a little trouble hearing. Sorry, guys. I'm on the road. I just finished up at the Kalamazoo County Commission. But thanks for the flexibility on this and working with us to recalibrate it. The dollar amounts you see in front of you are all reimbursable through the TIF. The question is, who's fronting the capital for it? And so what we would prefer to do is to split the capital along the way I've outlined in the side-by-side comparison. So there's 3 items that we would pick up in the TIF, the wells, the streets, and the driveways, I believe. And then because we were anticipating to cover all the infrastructure gap, but the infrastructure gap came back significantly higher than we were expecting. And so it kind of exceeded our pro forma limits for this deal. But I think we can still move forward, and I think we can still build these houses out and utilize the MISTA grant. And I think my suspicion is the cost will actually be lower once we get into the field. But I think the engineer had to rush these for the grant deadline. And when you ask an engineer to go fast, they tend to go high, just to be conservative and safe. But that's our position right now. And to help offset the cost, we're preparing, I think the PA had us buying the land for $1 or $100 for all 16 lots. And we're willing to pay, I believe, $10,000 now for each lot to help inject cash into the city's balance sheet.
So that's 16 parcels.
16
Times
parcels.
10?
Yep.
16 parcels, 10,000 each is the new price we'd be willing to pay for this land. And then we would also front the 3 elements of the engineering plan I just cited. And then we would ask the city to front the remaining portion of the gap portion. And then both of us would be paid back from the TIF.
Before tonight, what was our expected contribution? It was 0, correct? So what changed taking it, from a $0 contribution to asking for $617,000?
It was the sheer amount of the infrastructure cost. I was expecting to stomach a $200,000 to $300,000 gap, which we would have been fine with. And then when it came back to the number it did, I said, we've got to restructure this. And so I talked to my team and looked at the pro forma and said, okay, we can increase our purchase price, which is non-refundable. But that's something we were getting a really good deal on. And so we said, let's kick that up. And then let's take on and self-perform the well digging and the sidewalks and driveways and those things. And then ask the city to contribute the remaining side of it. And that way it can fit into our pro forma and we can move forward with the deal.
You're great. Can I jump in?
Go ahead, Justin.
All right, thank you. Hi, everybody. Justin Horvath. Brian, I'm here in the room.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah, so let me try to, as we know, this did come together fairly quickly. The issue, obviously, trying to get these grants together, as Brian said, I mean, it takes, a lot of effort in a very short period of time. I do agree. I think some of the costs that are budgeted are probably ultimately going to be high, but
here's how I look at this, and Brian, tell me if I'm wrong. So we came forward originally with a proposal basically drawing on 3 buckets of money. One bucket of money is what is gonna be given for the land. So that's one bucket, and that's being changed tonight. The second bucket is the grant, which is a big bucket, and we need to have that grant no matter what the format is. And the third bucket's the TIF. So that's the tax increment finances. That's the money kind of at the back end. So the way I look at this, all the work obviously still needs to be done. We want the homes, I think, in the community and to redevelop this site. And so what this appears to me to be is all those pieces are still on the table. It's just who draws from what bucket at one point. So the way I read this is the first bucket goes up, you get a lot more money. Now, to Brian's point, that does potentially require a larger upfront investment from the city for his request, but that doesn't mean you're going to be necessarily out that money, because the third bucket, which is the TIF, the city's going to be able to be reimbursed from that. So it's basically rearranging how the money flows, but the whole project essentially still remains the same. Brian, is that a reasonable way to look at it?
That's correct, and great summary. And one thing I would add is that the city and us would be able to collect interest on whatever the gap ends up being for the capital injection. So if it takes 15 years to pay back the city or 20 years to pay back the city, there's interest accruing on that. Now it keeps the properties off the tax rolls longer, but you're capturing state and county taxes to pay you guys back faster. You can have the interest, you cannot have the interest. I'm just letting you know the tools and levers at your disposal, but Justin's summary is correct.
Interest to be paid by Ellen Edwards.
Interest to be paid by the TIF. So what we're going to do is, in addition, one thing we're not talking about is that we're going to take on the risk of building these houses and leasing them. And we think we can do that in this market. Those houses will be paying higher taxes on the property than the property is currently getting right now for the city. These are city-owned properties, so it's getting 0. The increase, which would be 0 to, I think it's going to be probably $800 to $900 a month in taxes, will be captured by the TIF to pay back the city and Allen Edwin Homes for the eligible items, which are listed in the engineering sheet. And one of the eligible items is interest on eligible items. So it's you're trading dollars today to get paid back more later.
And maybe, Tim, Brian, once again, I don't want to, I know enough.
No, you're there in person. I can
Yeah,
correct you.
and Brian would want to be here, but
Yes.
I will say this, the way, and Brian commented this, the way, I think they felt and being warmly received in Langsburg and Durant and other communities, they want to do more work here. You are committed to investing to build a lot more housing in Shiawassee.
100%.
Which we need throughout the county. But to Tim's point, another way I look at it is going back to the buckets again, because that's the way I think about it, right? The grant bucket and the land sale bucket, that's more upfront money. The TIF money requires more patient capital, because that means year after year, taxes get paid by the homeowners. That money flows in year after year for a period of years. And so basically, in my mind, the interest rate comes in where you get to recoup that because you're being patient like a loan and waiting years to get that money back. Once again, Brian, is that sort of a fair assessment?
That's correct. The best way I've heard it described as a TIF is it's a self-funding incentive. And so once we build this out, it's going to start generating tax revenue. And that revenue is going to come back to the TIF, and the TIF is going to pay back the city with interest if they want it, and the developer with interest.
And the interest would be negotiable.
Negotiable. Customary is 5%. Is what is negotiating. It's a little below market rate right now for what the money is costing, but that's negotiable.
And the ballpark guesstimate of the length of the TIF.
Pardon, say that again?
If we were all in How long is this TIF gonna drag on?
If you guys agree tonight, or if you say it looks good and you want to discuss it more, I'll have my projection guys run the numbers based on this, but we're generally probably looking at around a 20-year TIF, maybe a little less, because normally what happens with these TIFs is it all has to be funded and paid back, but we are getting a $1.3 million grant that does not have to be paid back. So you're probably shaving off a bunch of years there.
And I will tell you, because Brian, you've done these already elsewhere in the county, that sort of 20-year mark is really sort of the kind of coming in at the sweet spot. Now, the state law actually allows for a lot more years, but the reality is you've got to balance this with the long-term, issues of collecting taxes. So that 20-year mark seems to be pretty close on this. The other thing I'd add too, and this is an incentive for the city council to consider. We've already done it again. We have precedent in Duran. Should the city be amenable to this and move forward, the county would actually front the money to pay to do the TIF plan. So that is an incentive program, because this has to go through the county brownfield authority, because the city doesn't have a brownfield authority. They have authorized this as an incentive. So the city actually wouldn't have to incur the cost of even paying for the plan. Go ahead, Tim.
But it's been determined that it's not brownfield, hasn't it?
So that's a great question. And once again, Brian, jump in here.
Yeah, so I get that question a lot.
Yeah,
You said this is not a brownfield.
Well,
yeah,
maybe not. It's not dirt.
Yeah, no. So
Great question.
the law, so the law changed about 2 years ago, and they changed the law, but they did not change the name of the program. So in the 70s, when this law originated, it was to clean up contaminated sites that were called brownfields. Since the 70s through now, they've added more uses for the tax increment financing. And now, like before 2 years ago, you needed some sort of contamination, obsolete, like, to use the TIF mechanism, the tax increment financing mechanism, to capture the activities you wanted to pay for. What the law change about 2 years ago did is it says if you have one housing unit, then the land automatically qualifies as a quote unquote brownfield, and you can use the TIF to pay for eligible activities. So that is what we're using. So the site is, we've done our due diligence. We're very comfortable with the site. The engineers have been through it. The site is in good shape. It's not contaminated. It's suitable for housing. And we're going to use the brownfield law, the TIF primarily, to leverage the future tax revenues to pay for the improvements needed to get there.
We've already done it in multiple places in the county. Once again, we did it in Durant for Allen Edwin Homes on, it's just existing property. It was a greenfield site, never been built on.
So we've got
this unfortunate, obviously, because it sounds like it's contamination. What's that, Brian?
If you go to our website under local government partnerships, there's a map that has a list of all the projects we have under construction through TIFs and pilots. And in Portage, we did 2 different green sites that now are under construction to yield about 106 new houses. In Traverse City, just outside Traverse City in East Bay, we're doing 170 single family homes with this. In Hillsdale, we're doing 65 units, workforce housing on 20% of them. So we're doing this all over the state, Three Rivers, Big Rapids, So this is a new law. I think we're at the cutting edge of it at Allen Edwin Homes, given our capacity as the state's largest home builder. We can do for sale, we can do for lease. So we're going to be leveraging our purchasing power to really build top-notch homes that are also income qualified there.
Justin, you're saying the county is willing to put the 617,000?
No,
No, the plan itself.
the TIF.
The paperwork. Yeah, sorry, no.
Which is nothing, which is about $15,000.
I was really excited.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I thought I heard that too. I didn't want to put Justin on the spot. I was like, oh,
yeah, thank
I'll
you
let the
for the
council ask the
clarification.
question.
Now, one of the things, and Brian will tell you this, one of the reasons why they want to invest more in Langsberg and Shiawassee County was what we did in Durant. I keep coming back to that because it's the best comparison. It's a small city like Langsberg. We did this in Durant, this exact same scenario. We did this plan. We actually got it fully approved through the county brownfield board, the city of Durant, and the board of commissioners in 9 days. Right,
It's a
Brian?
state record. It's a state record.
9 days. And so he told me, I'm stealing words from you, Brian. He said, because of how welcoming we were in Shiawassee to them and supportive, that convinced your leadership to want to invest more in our community.
Yeah, we've got a
Community,
long leeway.
Shiawassee.
in
Shiawassee, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
When I bring deals with Shiawassee, I get the attention of our investors.
So we want, I mean, I'm the county guy, right? I want to see more housing in Langsberg, Grant, Wasso, Corona, Perry, all the places, because every community needs it. All the school districts need it. And the reason I think these guys can deliver, and he said it, we know the cost of housing is expensive, but the way they built their business model, they know how to buy in bulk and be creative and make things affordable for the market. And so, and quite honestly, they're doing, as he said, they're doing this statewide. This is a corporate mission by Allen Edwin Homes to deliver quality workforce housing throughout the entire state. You're the number one in the whole state, aren't you, Brian?
Correct.
Remind me, these are rentals, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Who's Green Development Ventures LLC?
Yep. That's our purchasing company. So that is a wholly owned subsidiary of Allen Edwin Homes that we buy our land in. So it is protect. There's investment reasons why we do it, but it's synonymous with Allen Edwin Homes.
When and how do we recoup the 617,000? I'm confused by that. I'm sorry. So once the
Great question. So next steps would be if we get a favorable vote tonight, I'll have my brownfield guys put a plan together, and you still won't be fully committed to this because you'll still have to review and we'll negotiate the TIF plan, and it'll lay out how many years the TIF will run for. You guys will vote on that. That'll be the first step of the TIF approval. Then it would go to the Shiawassee Brownfield Authority. Then it would go to the Shiawassee County Commission. And each of those different boards would have to vote on it to vet it and have their consultant review it and make sure it's fair. And then and only then, once is the condition of our purchase agreement, we have to have a TIF plan in place. Then we would purchase the land and close on it, and everything would be, that would kind of kick off the work.
To mitigate your risk, once again, Brian, I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but you know, that's a large investment for the city, right? They need to think about that, and they would get a good check up front, but there would have to be additional investment.
Yep.
Essentially, you guarantee through a legally binding agreement that you're going to build these homes, which will generate that revenue, which will give the city confidence to know that money is going to come in on those homes, right? They're not going to just put the infrastructure in and then you bail. You have to agree to build those homes, right?
I don't see a scenario in which we don't build the homes, but I don't want to say legally binding. And so I just want to highlight that, but I don't see a scenario if this is plans approved, the infrastructure goes in place, we close on the property. We don't buy vacant property just to hold it.
To be clear, our list here, water wells, housing, the sidewalks, driveways, landscaping and restoration. This whole list.
Yep.
This is for us to pay for. Correct?
No, I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe the stuff that would be kind of considered for the individual site. So the well, the driveways, the sidewalks, we would handle. And then everything else would be the grant and Langsberg.
Responsibility anyway.
Yes. We were hoping that the grant would cover most of it for this deal.
The grant that we received
Yes,
would pay for all of this that is your responsibility anyway. Am I wrong here?
I mean, to build homes, you need all those things. A lot of the communities
Right.
we're working in, we're working together. I mean, yeah, for housing development, you need that. And a lot of the areas we're working in, we're working with the communities to partner on cost offsetting because you can't deliver the affordability. We could build these houses and pay for all that, and the homes would be $600,000-700,000. So, and they wouldn't sell or lease at that rate profitably.
And just to add on to that, Tim, that's another great question. You know, to Brian's point, the challenge is the cost of the ground down is a very significant part of it. And yes, historically, all that would be the purview of the developer. But in the cost world of lumber and labor and all that, it makes it cost prohibitive, as he said, to build a home that would be rentable or sellable to people that can afford it. And so that's why we've got to use the grants, the TIFs, you know, I mean, it's extremely complicated. I work in this world every day and I still got to kind of process all this. But
Just
we don't.
one example, the infrastructure costs on our projects for the last 4 years have increased 10% year over year. And that goes right into the lot cost, that goes right into the purchase price or leasing price of the house. So we're fighting the battle of affordability as hard as anyone right now. And we've got purchasing power that no one else has in the state. And we're having a hard time with these deals.
Maybe I'm the only one who's not seeing the complete picture here, but the information I have in front of me, it says Langsberg's cost for the above items is 1.8 million. What's the total project cost?
2.5, I believe.
It'd be nice if we could see a complete breakdown of the project, so we knew.
That's not including housing.
Yeah, you know, I should have done is I should have put on there what we're putting at risk with the building of the house. And we're probably putting anywhere from 250 to 275 for each house is going to be our cost to build them.
Times 16, right, Brian?
Yes, correct. I believe, Justin, the cost sheet we gave to Sarah for the Reed Road site was around 260, 265.
That's the rand actually.
Well, 250 is 4 million.
Yeah.
So really what's being proposed is a true public-private partnership, really. In a nutshell. And, you know, as Brian said, and I mentioned, you know, it'd be beautiful if we could just, hey, here's the land, take care of it all, developer, and, you know, we'll benefit from that. And, you know, and it's not just Langsberg. We're having this issue everywhere in Shiawassee County. Unless sites have water and sewer or utilities already in place, everything ready to go, basically lots, right? What we have here is land. We don't have lots. It makes it very hard to do. So we're trying to use these programs. I mean, we passed TIP plans or are moving forward in Lennon, Morris, Duran, Owasso, Corona, hopefully here in Langsberg. Nowhere in the county's immune. I think Brian, you said, I mean, nowhere in the state's really immune right now, I guess, unless you're in maybe Oakland County or Bloomfield Hill.
But even, I mean, but that land is so expensive that even those are having trouble penciling. You know, granted, you can hide a lot of cost overruns when you're building $1 million plus house. But yeah, to bake in the affordability, you really need these public-private partnerships, as you said. And just an example, Reed Road over in Duran, that's one where the deal was originally conceived of as the city would cover 100% of the gap and get repaid through the TIF. So we're not even covering the individual home hookups or driveways or anything like that. Like that's all being covered by the TIF.
And I'd say one more thing, because this may have crossed some of the council members' mind. You know, what's we don't do anything, what's the alternative? The challenge again, so you're getting zero on it now, right? I mean, it's, city owned property, there's zero value, no development. So my concern would be if we don't, yeah, I think we have a great partner. I'm just gonna say that. I think we got a great partner that understands these programs, willing to work with it. If we don't go ahead with this, my concern would be what else could we put there, right? Because you're probably thinking that, well, if we don't do this, can we find somebody else that doesn't need this stuff? The reality is, I don't see it, and that's just my personal professional opinion, because of all these costs, any other builder that would come in is gonna say the same thing, I think. They're gonna say, we need this help, we can't build on this property unless we get, all this done. So I think the property would continue to stay vacant and not provide any value. So ultimately, what I've told other communities, you are forsaking revenue, for a number of years. So that is an issue, but you're not getting any revenue now, but at least you would have a lot of new homes, a lot of new residents. That would help the downtown, that would help the schools, all the different things. So that's how I try to position it, the alternative, so.
And the rent was in the $1,200 a month range?
Yes, that'll be on some of the units, per the grant will be as low as I believe 60% AMI, which is something we generally don't do, but for this deal, we're gonna do that. Usually the lowest we go is around 80% AMI. The workforce housing band is 80 to 120. Where we work, but this grant, if we went a little lower on a few of the units, we could qualify for the grant money.
Danielle, where do we stand with being able to afford the offset of their purchase price to the 617, like $500,000 basically?
I mean, we can always do a capital bond.
But it's not,
Sorry, I had.
just Tim's favorite words.
I'm not sure.
But it's not just, we don't just have $500,000.
I mean.
Well, and this isn't happening all boom. And some of it we could do with sweat equity, so to speak, as well. It's gonna be a lot like McClintock Park costs $2 million, but we've got a couple hundred into it, or maybe 5.
I have to think some of these costs, like we
Yeah.
already stated,
I don't know
are
if you read
high.
the
We
letter
know
from.
they're high. The
Yeah.
consumers are backed up from mid-November. That is totally just going off of things that they've seen. It could be $100,000 cheaper than what it is right now.
Right.
We don't have the solid numbers. I can say, yeah, we have this, we have it. But it's up
This
to you
is-
guys, that should we spend it on it? I mean, you have to think of all the projects that we have coming up. You know that we have a lot of stuff coming up. But how much will we pay for by the time that stuff rolls around? RJ made a great point. This puts more into our sewer. That's a huge project coming. And we haven't done the discharge yet, have we? To know how it's doing things.
What do you mean this puts more into our sewer?
We'll have
I think
to-
it's 16
it's
more
dumping
units.
into-
More usage of.
16 more.
I mean, yeah, it's 16 more. I don't, that realm, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't work in that, so I can't say with 16 homes, how fast is that going to speed up when we need to redo the lagoons and clean those out.
Ideally, we get those sewer rates up to where it's
And,
self-sustaining.
and we were talking about that in finance.
Yeah.
So
We talked about that.
About
there's a lot of moving parts that would have to happen. If we were to go through this, we would have to sit down.
Can you tell us what the rent will be again?
So,
I believe on a portion of the units, you're gonna have them around the $1,300 a month for a 4-bedroom house, which is gonna be probably the best in the state. And the other thing I want to point out is I spent 10 years working in Detroit for Mayor Duggan's office, and I saw subsidized housing look and done really, really bad. These homes are going to be assets to your downtown. They're going to look really cute. I think I sent the renderings over. And if you guys are ever at the corner of Miller and Aurelius and Lansing, we've got these houses actually vertical, and I can take you guys through a tour of them. We're building, I think, 67 over there. But we're not going to achieve affordability by building ugly product. This is going to look really, really cute in your downtown.
The other thing you gotta think about is the grant. It's gotta come through for us to move forward, so.
And we have to approve the tip. So we could, I guess my thing, I'm not sure how we make a decision until we see the full set of financials. What our total out of pocket is, plus what we're gonna be gaining on the tip yearly. And if we can see that, and so we can move forward tonight saying, yeah, let's get to the point where we see the tip and then make sure it's best for the city long term.
Yeah.
But until we've got those numbers, I mean, I'm not.
Well, and I'd like to see
Let's get to that
numbers
point. Yeah.
to assure me that we're not paying for their retirement next year, because of our generosity.
Well, and this may be something too, where we talk to the DDA, because I mean, quite
Yeah.
frankly, I looked at the site again this afternoon, and one of the viewpoints are gonna be looking at the backside of those bars downtown, and those backsides look like backsides. They're not attractive.
That-
Yeah,
Truly,
so,
they do.
I mean, if we're gonna make that investment into our downtown, maybe we should see if we can get like some of the other
downtown.
to invest.
yeah,
in that as well.
Yes, it is. And
Yeah.
the actual part of the property that we will be doing
Doing.
infrastructure on is owned by me. So that's a, wasn't going there until we knew, but there is a sliver of property that the
The drive.
sidewalks, I think it'll end up being the sidewalk part of the,
Part of the.
Of the
parking
development.
spaces.
yeah, the parking spaces of it, the sidewalk is owned by the DDA. So,
So just to you said, we go ahead and approve this tonight, we're gonna get one last chance to review all the financials with the TIF in place.
Correct,
With that before.
we're still not nailed to the cross.
correct. And what I would say is tonight, from a procedural point of view, you're authorizing whoever's the authorized signee to sign an addendum to the purchase agreement that'll increase the purchase price and that will outline the additional costs in that proposal. And it's going to be contingent on the grant coming through. Someone said that was a really good point. That if this grant doesn't come through, this deal doesn't happen. And if the TIF doesn't come through, this deal doesn't happen. So I think those are the things I'll put in an addendum to edit the purchase agreement.
And we're supposed to know about the grant by the 17th or around the 17th of this month. Which
Another week, 10 days.
it seems promising.
We'll see, yeah.
If
Lansing's a little bit
Well,
in flux right
yeah,
now, but yeah.
could be longer
Yeah.
depending on
They're a little
budget
behind now.
stuff,
but-
yeah. So I have seen the Miller and Aurelius project go up, and when it first started, I thought, what are they throwing in that area? But I've been impressed.
What is it? To the east of the end of Miller Road? Miller and Aurelius,
It's south of,
That's a T.
It's south of Jolly.
Miller.
Yeah.
Miller
On
and
a-
Aurelius,
Yes, yeah,
it's a T.
yep.
Is
So
it
it's on
to
the
the
corner
east
there?
of the T? Must be. I would assume, because that's all swamp. Kind of, well, no, it's high by then,
It's on the,
east side,
west south.
southwest,
Yeah.
southwest corner.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it does,
Before we approve the TIF, I should probably have you guys out there. I'll buy some Jimmy Johns and you guys can walk through the houses and see what you're getting in this deal.
That's all
I think
Timmy.
there's nothing that sells this better than walking through our houses.
Jess, I know we were talking before, but there could be possible future grants that would help offset some of this too. I mean, I'm just asking,
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on what's going on with all the grants in the state.
What Greg's referring to, for the council and the audience and Brian, we met last week with a guy from Michigan Department of Ag and Rural Development. Talking about some different programs they have available. One of the programs we looked at, I think, was the Rural Development Fund, which could potentially supply additional grant dollars, for rural infrastructure. So that is another bucket. I don't know, Brian, if you've used that program before.
We have not, but I can tell you guys, any grant money you bring in we would apply that to the city's portion. So it would lower the upfront cost of the city and it would shorten the overall TIF. So I think we both put our hats on together once we sign this amendment to the PA. And we go after other grants.
And, I'm putting my council, I was on the city council in Owasso, so I kind of know what most people are probably thinking here. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if I'm a council member, I want to make sure I'm crystal clear, Brian. What are the dominoes from here, and what still would the city have to approve to make sure they're protecting their taxpayers? Can you just really
So I
clearly
think,
lay out
yeah,
those numbers?
I think the first step is you vote tonight to approve, to authorize the signing of the addendum, subject to what was discussed here tonight. Purchase price, rights and responsibilities based on the cost breakdown I shared with you. That gets us in a position where I will then generate all the stuff we need to insert into the portal for the grants. Because that's still, we've got a kind of a placeholder in there right now. We need to finalize our application. And part of that is on me to get the letters of credit from our banks to say we've got the funds on hand to build this. We do that, then we're in the running to get the grant that's already been earmarked for us. Then we get the official, while the official grant is pending, we work on getting a TIF approved. And that would include us coming up there in person with our consultants to say, here's this. And you guys would have your consultant, Sam, right? Justin?
Yeah, so we would.
So the county's consultant, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have the county has its own consultant, Sam Marius from Fleece and Vandenbrink. They might have done some work previously in the city. Her and I, maybe you too, Brian, we would come to a future council meeting, maybe as soon as November, maybe, depending if you're back on the grant. Focusing on this TIF more. And ultimately, what we would need in order for the county to pay for it is simply a resolution of support. We're not going to ask you to do that tonight, but a resolution of support to move ahead. And that would authorize the county to pay for it and begin work on this plan, which, again, you get a lot of bites at the apple. You would have to approve that TIF. So the project would be dead unless you approve that TIF too. So Brian, is
correct?
Yep.
That's correct. And the PA specifically calls out the approval of the TIF is contingent. Our closing on the land is contingent on the TIF being approved. So if for whatever reason you guys don't feel comfortable and don't want to move forward, you don't approve that resolution, that releases us from the obligation to close on the land, and we part ways and look for other deals together in Langsberg, but this is not going to be the deal. So like Justin said, there's a couple other, I would call them off ramps to the deal. We don't like to take them, but there are off ramps that the city has.
I'm gonna ask the stupidest question of the night.
And the night's not over.
What happened that changed all this to what we're talking about tonight?
Great question. It was the exceedingly high infrastructure estimate.
Okay.
We were not forecasting that. That was where I said, yeah, you know.
And those were all costs that were to be borne by Allen Edwards.
Correct. Yep. So I got that. The second I got those costs, I typed it up, sent it to my boss, who's one of the investors in this on the executive team. And he says, you know, I don't want to scrub this deal. This is actually, I think my second PA I ever signed with the company. And I mean that sincerely, like I love Langsberg. And so he said, why don't we increase the purchase price? So let's try to find a way to make it work. Increase the purchase price, have them put up a front of the remaining capital, and then they'll get paid back for the TIF along with us. So we're kind of standing shoulder to shoulder in this deal. But to go back to your question, it was the exceedingly high infrastructure estimate.
Okay.
And if I remember right,
Changed it, everything.
If I remember right from earlier, you said that these estimates you think are overestimated because they took their time and didn't get us the estimate, and then
Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember being on those calls where I think Sarah told the engineers they had to have the final stamp drawings by X date, and I've never heard engineers more speechless in my life. So I'm not guaranteeing that these are overly inflated, but everything I'm seeing makes me think they're higher than they should be. And I think someone else on the call said that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the engineers pointed out, said
Yeah,
they think it's higher.
but they didn't
Yeah.
have. a
They didn't have, I don't blame the engineers at all. I think they're probably great engineers. They just didn't have time to pressure test all the numbers. So when you have to rush a job, you go with the highest quote.
Well, and plus. Tell us it's gonna cost us $600,000 today and tomorrow it's 300. Oh, yay, let's pay it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Then better than saying.
Don't we feel
three,
good about it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have legitimate, the turnaround for this grant was very short. And.
Yes.
you don't Get,
Not an
Estimate.
estimate like that.
they don't care.
right.
They'll be, yeah, maybe November, they said,
I would assume this is a worst case
yes.
Yes,
number.
I think that's fair.
yeah.
And I'll even put that in there saying not, these amounts would be not to exceed.
That works. Any further discussion, with lady?
Have we got a motion on the table?
Yeah, because we didn't.
I'll make a motion to approve the sign the amended purchase agreement.
No, second.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion?
So I wrote a motion that I wanted to just say, so I think the motion should say, I will make a motion that we accept the update. With the expectations that the estimator gets us the correct numbers that aren't overestimated due to time. So we can review the costs, so we can have and make an actual decision with accurate data.
Who is that estimator?
I don't know, but we've already determined that
Yeah.
they threw it together in a day or two.
Did
Well,
And
come
we
up with
can't.
these numbers.
C2A.
C2A.
Stuff that they had to get estimates, and we don't know when they're gonna be able to get those. I mean, consumers is November, mid-November, and that was,
That was a month ago.
Yeah.
That's supposedly what they said.
yeah, I mean, so,
But without accurate data, we can't make it.
Well, that's the same, hopefully
Well, that's-
between now and the tip, we can have
We'll have that
actually a
bit,
set
yeah.
of true costs of what we.
and if
or
he's not,
closer.
if he's willing to put in there not to exceed
Yeah.
the amount.
Yep.
Or the infrastructure part of this, that's our part. That, because I just don't,
We're
I-
really only asking. Or saying yes, continue forward.
right,
We're not,
We're not signing a
no,
dotted
but
line
we
yet,
still have to,
We're not
the
signing
TIF,
for
and we
money.
still have to
and we need those
get
numbers
the grant.
for the tip.
Yeah, we still have to
this
get
is
the.
just to say, we're going forward.
Yes.
And we'll come to the point where the money will be nailed down within a few $100,000. What's a few $100,000?
It's
Billion
doable.
here
I
and a
think it's
billion
doable.
there.
After looking at these numbers, I think a couple hundred to shave off this is probably very likely. Yeah.
We are doing adjustments to your motion.
I'll go with, yeah.
Can you
It's up
send
to you
that to
guys.
me?
Yeah, I can send that to you.
Can you write it in a sticky note?
I couldn't write that.
It's the original
The original one was just the,
Approval.
approval of the
approval to move forward,
purchase agreement.
You just add more
Amendment.
to give us more protection.
but I don't think we're even at a point where we need any protection.
Would you rather have protection or no protection?
I've always gone with it.
Yeah, just email it to me and then I can figure it all out.
Okay, so any more discussion from anybody on this one? Okay, let's do a roll call.
Miller,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Frank, yes. Leonard,
Yes,
Edith,
No.
Ennis,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes. I can skip to Brandon.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I'll get the addendum over to you as soon as possible.
Didn't know you were
Okay,
coming.
appreciate it.
I just wanted to put you at the top.
Thank you, Justin.
I'm gonna head out. Thanks, everybody.
Thank,
We'll be in
thanks,
touch.
Justin.
thank you.
We made popcorn.
We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Brianna.
Yes. You have the map, right?
I-
Okay. Told me you have the map. So I just need to do the road closure for the Grinch Run. Plus, which is not a closure for the Grinch Run, it's just having police assistance. And then the road closure for Winterfest. The Grinch Run is, I believe it's the 30th of November. That's Sunday, and then Winterfest is Saturday, December 6th.
Just the parade, right? That's what you're.
The
Parade is
parade,
Grinch
and then it is,
Okay.
the road is closed. Yep, so it's closed from the
But not-
top of the hill all the way to the bottom, for the evening.
And a little bit from.
Yes. Goes to Lane Street.
Where?
They close.
Oh, yes, thank you for the, horse carriage,
Mhm.
because of the change in the, school parking lot. So it comes up that driveway, and then it will,
It's our typical closure.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, the normal.
We've moved them all, so all three events are closed the same.
I would make a motion that we close the roads
Second.
as presented.
Second,
I'll second.
Range, second, then Joe declares.
Any
Any discussion?
RJ also second.
We have to use our speaking voices.
No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
doesn't
Any
even have.
opposed? Huh?
I'm just making sure no. questions.
Nope.
Do you have any questions for the Grinch Run, Dan? That'd be good.
What time is it?
The Grinch Run starts at 2. And I can come back down here on a day and we can kind of talk through it, but it's just the typical
It's the same route as usual.
same route as usual. We won't close the road, but just kind of have people,
Yeah.
help people on the route like I did last year, making sure.
Hopefully the weather's better.
Fingers crossed.
It's cold and then all.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'll come back down, Dan.
Okay.
We can finalize.
Close. All right, what's next? Since mine's out of order.
Oh, library fiscal,
The what?
the fiscal, library fiscal.
Library fiscal agent. Find that in my tab. Not that. Not that. You didn't pull something. Fiscal agents agreement, that looks like sideways, but you copied it. All right,
Make a motion to approve agreement.
get a second,
Second.
any discussion?
Is that why you're here, Sarah?
Just in case anybody had any question that I could answer.
What does this note on our lawyers thing actually say? Danelle, I can read, dear Danelle, just need.
Just receive these, please review, and we'll get together at your office for discussion.
And what was the discussion?
We met and spoke for a while on both agreements. He is not willing for us to sign it yet because some of the missing pieces that need to be still added that were taken out.
Who-
There
who-
is
Who said this?
our attorney,
And that is,
Richard Burlingame.
okay,
The part of the budget that was removed should be put back in there, according to the UBAA of, 1968, because that was after 1877 Public Act. There's a whole, it's all wrote out on why it should be in there, and the note in from the library's attorney explains why they want it out. And then what I attached is what Burlingame and or why he wanted to add it back in. Because they are subject to it. The Uniform Budgeting and Accounting Act. Because they are under the city, And if you're a board under the city, a committee under the city, you're subject to the same things that a local government is subject to.
So that's
And-
section 3.2 is you're talking about?
believe so. Yes, 3.2. It states that something about many different things. I would like clarified in there what the millages are, not that we can't, not that to go against the state law. That's not what we're doing. I just want it clarified how, so that when a librarian leaves or Kim were to leave or I would leave, just how the millages are voted in. So just a thing that says, one is an unvoted millage that you guys bring and the council votes on. The other millage, so not to exceed 2, is what is took into the voters. If that's where we go to the city for.
And all these things make it a lot easier for the next person who has to look at these.
Yeah,
because
well,
it
and
takes a
yeah, and
lot
that-
to start.
I think that the wording can stay in there and just have a note, this is how we are structured with this city, just so that everyone knows, because look at how much work we had to do to figure out that
all of it.
we, the council, are supposed to vote 1 millage in, and anything over 1 is supposed to go over. I just think a note of that in there would just be helpful.
And I want the council to know that the library board has been working on this for 6 months. We are ready to have it resolved to make sure that we're both protected. You guys have already said that I think something should have been resolved. And there was something happening prior. We're not all gonna be here. That library board's not all gonna be here. I do not want someone else to have to keep going back through this to figure it out.
That's why
And we put a lot of expense that we have not asked for any other. You
The
know,
library has.
the
done
library
great.
has, we hired a library lawyer. We've talked to the state librarian lawyer that has, helped us along. We're just volunteers and I'm you guys that you appointed me here and then I'm over there to help. We can't keep going back and forth. And Sarah, I'm gonna let you speak because Sarah is very knowledgeable.
What Jody said, and also what Sarge said. The idea is just to lay it out so it's not confusing, because we have started from scratch on every single thing we've touched. And I don't know any of this. I don't have a degree in law or municipality stuff, so this has all been very confusing, and we've relied heavily on our lawyer, who is specific to libraries, and also the state lawyer, because she's a free service. But we have spent thousands of dollars that we do have, but we don't have. Trying to get this figured out so that it's just done. I think the feedback on the fiscal agency agreement, we can definitely bring back to the board. I don't see there being a problem with those items. If we can get it written out, that would be helpful, because
I didn't have time to write.
that's okay. But just as long as we can get it written, so we have something documented to take back to our board, that would be helpful.
We've had it back from talking to Burlingame and then, doing our due diligence to make sure that everything is in here, because there are some things in here that I'm confused of why the lawyer is putting them in and having do this, because there's contradictions.
To just with the fiscal agency agreement we're speaking
And
about, employee
yes.
contract.
So that confuses me if she is a library lawyer, because the original one we had was written by Claire. So that's, that got all back and forth. That's the one basically that we're.
And we have not spoken to Claire about the fiscal agency agreement, just for transparency. She was just someone we relied on for the employee contract. So that very well can be, and we can take whatever notes he has back to our lawyer. And go from there. As far as the employee contract goes. When we were hiring the director position, in my mind, that was just the last step. get a contract for them to sign, protect that position, protect the library. And then we sent that off to our lawyer to review. At that time, there was a discussion had with her and also separately, I called the state of Michigan law, library lawyer, that's always a mouthful for me. Just to make sure that she was on the right track. A lot of stuff with the employee contract was not intended to change or shift any roles or responsibilities. It was just to outline a contract for Sarah to sign. The one thing that needed to be defined, and this was for Claire, who's the state of Michigan lawyer, is that for our director to be eligible to receive the insurance through the city and the workers' comp, all of that, she has to be defined as a city employee. If she's not, an insurance company could look at her and say, well, actually, you're not eligible, so you're not covered, we're not covering these things. So that is where that language comes in. Everything else was intended to stay the same, just better define the roles.
Well, and I think I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, Danelle, but I think the actual in the fiscal part of it could state in there, that the library director is a city employee and not have us be signing her actual contract because the city has no power over her. None.
And we've learned
So
that the hard
the
way.
agreement should be between the board and the director. I mean, as far as, the contract for, that is true, but
However, when we hired Sarah, even though we were the ones making that decision, we still had to report back to the city. And
which I don't know if you did,
she still was given the employee handbook to sign.
because that's the part that says she's a city employee.
But
That
she was,
she signed the handbook, she signed all of our agreements, all of our, everything that every one of us have to sign.
so I guess that's where I'm confused, if she had to sign that because she's a city employee, but we're saying she's not a city, that's where there's.
No.
We have no,
Yeah, I don't think that we're saying she's not a city. employee.
No.
We're just saying that
Okay.
the
Not a
council
contract.
doesn't hire the library.
Correct, and we never.
and cannot fire her, cannot tell her what to
So
do,
why do we have a
nothing.
contract?
And that was defined before we even hired her, because that was the first call I ever made to Claire. Like, we have this open position, what is our role as a board to fill it? So we know that, the roles and responsibilities of our board with the director and the library, we're not asking any of that to be changed, we're not asking for you to take over it.
Well, I think with Danelle and talking about this for a long time. The contract that the city would sign, that's her contract between the board and her, would put us, the
Liability.
city, in a liability position.
Mhm.
And that's why we put in there the lawsuits that have happened, the lawsuit that happened here.
I didn't put that.
Our mayor went over there and fired her and was told, you can't do that. So even having that contract, I feel like that's overstepping that part where we don't have any say in that. So yes, we can put in there that she is a city employee, but as far as hire, fire, discipline, anything else, that's between the library board and.
And we agree on that, and I think that was the part that hadn't been maybe, we maybe misunderstood that was the part that had been a disagreement up until this point with Burlingame. So that's, as far as I'm aware, and I'm on the same page, I'm fine with that. I guess whatever changes do need to be made, if we can just get those sent over, our next board meeting's not till the end of the month. And then hopefully we can move.
Yeah, I mean, I
forward
think
then.
there's just a few things that we need to
Yeah, like,
tweak.
if the library is dissatisfied with an employee for any reason, the library shall inform the city and the city shall terminate. No, we
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah, that.
we cannot do that.
So, I mean, that's
And
where,
I highlighted that for your attorney, FYI, for the last time, it was in red, so she should have. I don't know, she never actually talked to Burlingame.
Whose
So,
notes are
we read-
on here? The highlighting yellow and the pen marks, is that, are we
That's
saying?
in Burlingame's,
Yeah.
when we said.
So you guys are proposing that the city would be allowed to fire them, and we're saying no.
We're
That-
against
not,
the statute.
we're not proposing that, it's the way our lawyer outlined it, Jody, correct me if I'm wrong. We are still the ones responsible for firing, hiring, all of that. But then we let the city know, since she is a city employee, I think that's where. The hard part about this whole discussion is it has been occurring for 6 months, and we met with Lindsay back in July or August to go over all of this, and then have been waiting for the next step from Burlingame.
And when, since when? Cause he didn't get this until August.
July or August is what I
Yeah,
said.
so, yeah, so he didn't get this till or, I mean, I don't know, I have it stated somewhere.
Yeah, she sent it to him,
The end of August, he
yeah.
received it September 4th.
But we have been back and forth. This has been before council before, and then
Gotcha.
it needed to go back to the lawyer. I'm just ready for it to be
So
resolved.
we came to our
We are
meeting, took our input from
We
it
are.
already being going back and forth a few times. This revised a copy, sent it onto him via postal mail, because there is no other alternative. And so then that had to wait a couple days to receive it, and here we are.
But I think called him, that's my, like, it would be so much quicker if she just called. That, I mean, I'm just saying. like, it would
Well,
just be
in
quicker.
her defense, if he received this
And he
via
got ahold of
mail,
us
because he
right
doesn't have
away.
email, if he received that, he potentially, after he met with you guys, picked up the phone and called our lawyer.
Well,
But it could go both
discussing what
ways.
two
Right,
separate parties
yes.
could have been doing
Yeah.
better. What can we do tonight to get this resolved? And if we can make an agreement to amend the motion to update the agreement to include Burlingame's revisions about the financial aspects, but to also add a clause that would list the librarian as a city employee. That would solve the problem, and at least from a council standpoint, we've done our due diligence to make sure that this librarian who's been representing the community, if they were, God forbid, need to use their medical insurance, that there isn't going to be any way for that claim to be denied. I think we should be able to get that handled.
Yeah, I mean, she is signed up as a city employee. She signs everything that we have, so she's technically a city employee. But other than that, everything else is
So,
on that board.
And I
Like
do
to-
think, though, what's important is at some point for the library board and the city to agree, because they are managing city employees, that city employee then is adhering to the rules and regulations of the cities. And they are, because they've signed the
Signed the
employee
handbook, yeah.
handbook.
And that-
But we should just put a clause that the board knows that that's an expectation that we have of them to make sure that they're enforcing.
I mean, almost
that.
everything that she has to sign states that this is what the rules are, these are what you have to follow, but that's where it ends.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's been brought up, because Claire brought that up as one of our first options way back when we were hiring her. That libraries in our situation, there's tons of different types of libraries, but the ones like us, they go as far to do a lease agreement between the city, and I brought that up a long time ago and was told that that was probably not necessary. I feel good about that. I like having everything spelled out and defined. When I read through those lawsuit documents this summer,
Mhm.
all I could think about was how can we get everything in black and white so that we're protecting Sarah, the city, us as a board. I don't care if it's over the top. I would prefer over the top. And there's just been so much that's just been left. And we're just trying to build literally from the foundation up over there, and 100%, if we could get a lease agreement between council and the board over her position, I think that's an excellent start.
So, in the fiscal agency agreement, there is a portion in there, 2.5, that says optional contracted services. So it says upon their written request from the library board, the city may perform additional services beyond its fiscal agent responsibilities, meaning the statute, including payroll, benefit administration, retirement services, legal counsel, auditor engagement, grant assistance, and similar services. Such additional services shall be agreed upon in writing and provided at a cost to the library, which would be up to us, and no reason why we're always providing this. But why can't that be something that all wrapped together
With everything.
with the city, that her claiming to be a city, that she is a city employee? That could be something that is listed, those are the provisions, and this is the extra contracted services that is being provided. That's just something that we were talking about with Burlingame.
It's, yeah, that's
So say that again. I don't
Kind
know
of
how you're
covered.
tracking.
So there, it would be an additional, I guess, agreement, because all those things that we are providing is not a state law, like the payroll, the benefits, all that stuff. So a separate agreement saying a contract, like a lease, that is what
Yes.
you want from us, and that's what we agree to provide to you guys. And that being a city employee could be something that would be a provision under that contract.
So you're saying the lease agreement could encompass this?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
that could be one whole,
I think we could bring that back to our board and
So you're saying do these plus a lease,
I think that,
yeah,
that's
and
what,
that's what
not-
Claire had suggested.
not like
I don't-
do the, because it's under the fiscal agency already. So you can do a separate thing,
yeah,
but
falls
the
under-
actual contract or her working contract
would be
is
between you
between you
guys.
guys. But we will say, yes, she's a city employee, this is the lease we
So
have
you
for her.
want the city employee part added to the fiscal agency agreement too?
It'll be, it'll be off of that.
Could be a clause, like,
It
there
would be
would be a
like
clause
a-
of the fiscal.
Because
agreement.
it states that right in there, you can have all these other things.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
If you just send
Something
this
we
stuff
could just-
over to me, or if I come over
Yeah.
later this weekend, we can push some of that.
So are we, you're saying we're not going to approve these?
No, I'm not saying,
You're not saying that. You're just saying we're gonna finalize these if
yeah,
it's
it's
voted
like,
on.
that 2.5
And then
is
you-
an addition.
Okay,
So essentially from tonight moving forward, we need to get Burlingame's notes back from the library board. Correct? Or what can we do anything tonight to move forward on this since it has been sitting since?
You two have pretty much covered the bases. And you talked to Richard.
It's up
Can't
to you
you
guys to
just
vote on if you
stick it
want
in
to.
there and call it a day?
well, we have to, we can't, I mean, if you guys wanna approve it as is, as it's stating right now, that's your guys' choice, but we are recommending to put other things into it and change some of the wording that we.
How about to not take this to 9 months or 10 months, but to get it done? Could we make a motion to approve with your,
Then they have to approve it. Well, but I think we have to approve it to be able to go
Yeah.
to them. Yeah, right. Well, but I mean, we have to give you. Well, and I would have thought that that's what the lawyer, Burlingame would have had a document with his corrections that he is suggesting.
Well, we sat down and worked together and we don't have it yet. I mean, everybody has other things on their plate too.
And we know,
So-
we're all volunteers.
know.
I very well know
I-
how much we have on our plate.
Yes, well, I mean,
Well-
I got this, I met with him the 18th. I have other things to do. I didn't
just
have
hadn't
time to
gotten
get
all of
everything
it.
documented.
Together and.
if you went home and spent a week on it and then mailed it, that's another 3 weeks.
Well, I just think in an effort to get resolution.
Yeah.
If we could just make a motion to amend the agreement to.
Amendments
include-
as discussed.
Add those.
Well, that's
Burlingame
fine,
stuff
but then
back
it
in,
has
yeah.
to go back, then it has to go back to their lawyer.
Well,
That's.
I don't
what's
think that's
going
going
on.
back to the lawyer. That's up to them, whether it goes back
We
to
would
the
look
lawyer.
at
on that.
whatever you
Yeah.
sent us and we would determine at that point. Cause she did come into our board meeting and sit with us and walk us through every change she was making. So I feel like at this point, we're pretty educated.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Our big
That's-
thing honestly was for her to be defined as a city employee, because up until tonight, that was where we were receiving the pushback. And we just wanted her to be protected for her insurance and her workers' comp. Some of these other things, I think. I'm speaking for myself, not the board, but I think we can come to an agreement on, because we just needed them.
And I think in all honesty, the fact that. She's payroll, she's paid by the city. She pays into the pension. She receives benefits, she's employed. That's that's gonna pass every common sense.
Yeah.
Rule.
otherwise the last lawsuit would have. Pulled up in place even more.
Yeah.
So if we're able to. Make changes. Our next library board meeting is the 27th. Our library could vote yea or nay. And then it would be able to come to you for the final signature.
Come back to city council at our next.
If we need that, or
As it's done.
Well, are
Or
we
you prove
suggesting
it
moving
with-
forward that the only thing city council would be signing is the fiscal agency agreement and the lease?
Mhm.
So we can move forward with the employee contract without it coming back.
Yes.
And just bring the other two documents to them at their next meeting, at your next meeting. Am I understanding correctly?
And we should be able to get you it all updated and then the lease to you guys before you make.
Will you be writing the lease then, or do you want to write?
It depends, yeah,
I mean, you're asking for our services. So
Yeah.
it depends on if you wanna write it or if you would like us to.
I think the cleanest thing to do is in your agreement with her. Add in there as an employee of the city of Langsberg, you are expected to. What else? You're getting that signed, you're submitting it to council saying, hey, this is our agreement with the librarian, just so we have it on record.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it will go in her. Our employee file.
It makes more sense to have it in the employment contract. So you guys do it, you submit it back to us, we have it in her personnel file. I think that's the cleanest way of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I really probably don't need, that's why I was like, we can add it into the fiscal agreement, just the whole city employee thing. Or you put it in there and then we,
If it's in there.
Signed and-
since
yeah.
it's in
As long
the
as it's just
fiscal
defined.
agreement, now we're looking
Yeah.
at it as a term of a lease, but then. It's a $0 lease because the budget lease, the.
Yeah.
So keep it simple, it's all possible.
so yeah, if you just wanna put that in there and then we'll work on the fiscal agreement, adding, whatever we needed to change. And then we can give it to you by your, so that you can have it by your meeting.
You need a second to Tim's motion.
Oh, we had a
I
second.
didn't,
We need an update.
I was just theorizing. I don't think I really made a motion, did I?
No, nobody's doing
I was
Jason
just-
made a motion.
I made a motion
Right off the
to
bat
approve
to
it.
approve it.
Oh.
I seconded that, but then
So we need
I
a
thought you-
motion to an
Amend it.
updated motion.
I thought you had made a
Oh,
motion
never
to
mind.
approve it with the
Sorry. wrote it down.
amended changes.
I think you're right.
I'm out of order.
I second that motion.
I'm getting lost.
Out of order here, yeah.
If Tim
It is
did,
Leonard.
then I second that, Tim's motion.
So,
That I motioned on his behalf, I don't know.
Yes.
There's mine.
Yes.
Thank you for your motion.
the motion on the floor is to approve this with the adjusted amendments. So she can
As
get
discussed.
clarified as a city employee. And then there will be some other amendments in this that will come into the future. That we will have final approval, but this way they can move forward with that. part. Is that correct?
They
And I-
can write everything up and it's kind of official and they can show it to the board and then,
Come back here.
yeah.
You guys will approve it at your meeting and we'll be done.
I don't want to come back.
You're released.
All right. Is there any further discussion or questions? Okay, so we're approving or denying the motion to approve this and add her as a city employee with additional amendments to come to make sure that everything is set right with a future lease agreement to come as well. Work out between the two.
I think all we have to do is amend the physical agreement to add the financial aspects that Sterling was talking about. Any of the employment part of it will be covered in the library board and the librarian's employment contract, which council doesn't need to approve. They will bring it back to us and we'll just put it in personnel file.
So we don't have to do anything with the library contract.
Okay.
When it's not added any more into that agreement than we need to.
And no lease agreement, that would just be part of the fiscal agency agreement.
That doesn't, yeah.
Second Tuesday, everybody know.
There's mine.
Welcome to the library.
Where are you at? Where we're going from here? All over the place.
So mean, the only thing that I'm concerned about is where it says the city shall terminate this agreement.
Is that on the employee contract?
Yeah.
Or is that with flood agency?
The employee agreement.
Yeah, so we're not part of that.
Okay.
That's gonna be between them two,
Good,
and
I
they're
can
gonna take
close
us
that
out.
out.
There's 10 minutes.
There we go. All right, so let's see. Yes or no on the fiscal agreement, right?
With Charlie Gaines amendment.
Yes. Yeah. All in favor?
That's what we need.
Any opposed? All right, that is done and carried forward.
Thank you, library board.
Put that thing to bed real soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right, what is next on the list?
We're kind of cherry
You
picking
guys-
all over. the-
Well,
work like
I
that.
got something she's.
The employee handbook, I think probably should be.
The employee handbook. Did anybody and everybody review the employee handbook that was asked to be done?
Yeah.
Got a couple
Okay.
that are in your package. There are a few suggestions.
I really think what Randy sent is great. I read through it a couple times today. I make a motion to amend the employee handbook with his discipline policy.
When did that get sent out? I don't know if I saw your.
3 weeks ago, Greg.
Well, I got whatever it says.
It was this afternoon.
Was yours the one with the check boxes?
Yeah, at the end of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
just today I sent it up.
it makes it,
Oh, he did, I did get it
Stupid
today. So
Kinda.
what that is today.
I mean, just follow directions and check the box.
We made a motion.
No,
I will second that.
You guys like it? All right.
Okay.
I mean, does that cover all the things that need to be discussed though? I mean. That's just one part of it.
I forgot.
That's what we're focusing on, right?
Council member.
You do it.
I got it.
What I like about it is there's a detailed procedure for everything. So if there is someone clocks in late, supervisor has to talk to the employee.
Okay.
Supervisor has to then document that there was a conversation and turn it into the clerk. So everyone's personnel files getting updated with every violation, and then those come to council, so we have an idea of what's going on. Without having to check in daily, to see what's happening with the employee. Well, I think it gives several levels of oversight, which is important.
One, and I know it's my proposal, but I have some scrutiny of it over it as well. I just want to double check that we're all on the same page with it. So, moment here, let me find where I have concerns. The potential concerns. Basically, like where there would be like an appointed city council member that would meet and review. And I didn't know if that's how we would do that and who that would be. Would it be the mayor? Would it be a case by case? Trying to find it. Number 3, final written warning or suspension. This step may include a formal review, and this says may include a formal review meeting between the employee supervisor and a designated representative of the city council. You like that? I don't know if I like that. And I got like assistance online. So it's not like I just like freehand wrote this, right? So it's yeah,
TBT.
yeah, might have some help. So.
Yeah, I think. I think the nice thing about having that in there would be if Kim has an employee and they're chronically late. She decides to go ahead and I'm going to terminate this employee. Having, at least having the ability or requirement to bounce it off of someone on council to say, hey, is this consistent with our other practices? Let's just do a quick review of personnel files. Make sure that one employee didn't just get terminated for being late 3 times. We have another employee who's been late 33 times.
Does it said in there something about a committee? or the chair.
There's a formal review meeting between the employee supervisor and a designated representative of the city council.
I wonder if you could just change that to like the chair of that committee.
Potentially,
I mean,
or
me, I got the whole y'all are here, but like, you know, for DPW and it would be like that, the chair, you could change it to the chair of that committee.
Well, that would just be their designated representative.
Right, but I mean, you could change it to chair, so it's not, you're not confused of like, oh, you're gonna go, you're not
Is there
on
always a
DPW,
chair?
but
I think it's a bad idea that you sign on vehicle.
yeah, it could be that too.
it really, the review probably just has to be between the supervisor and the council representative, because council really has very little input to do with employees other than the heads of the departments.
Right.
So it'd be more like Dave saying, hey, Greg, I want to bounce this off you. I've been having issues with employee ops. Greg's like, oh, yep. Yeah, can't have that. Do what you gotta do. That way, there's at least some dialogue.
I mean, I like what you're saying there, but I don't know if that matches what it's saying in that, well, it says a formal review meeting.
Well,
Versus
we
what you're
gotta
saying
watch.
is a casual, let me bounce this idea off, you know?
We gotta watch our ordinance too. Cause, I mean, yeah, we can, but yeah, it's gotta be. Well, say it again, read it again.
A formal review meeting between the employee supervisor and a designated representative of the city council.
That gets sticky.
I know, because,
All it says is this step may include.
right,
Yeah,
but I'm wondering if we should just change it to informal. Because. It's pretty straightforward in our ordinance about,
The
The
council
only-
has nothing to do
Yeah.
basically with.
and yeah, that's where I'm
Could you
like,
just take out the city council representative and. It'd be between the employee and and their supervisor.
yeah, I mean, that's how our ordinance is written.
I mean, that's. Can we make an
yeah,
amendment to the motion to take that out,
yeah, I like that.
the designated representative of city council, and then we would be within. The ordinance and we wouldn't have to. Change something else.
What if we have concerns with like performance of the department heads?
That's you guys.
That
Right.
is us.
I mean, is
And
that
we all have to meet. And
like separate from, so
Special.
this is irrelevant to how you, Danielle and Dave perform?
yeah, I mean, you can follow
Yeah.
these, but I mean, you can follow, obviously, you can follow
Yeah.
the same thing, you're in the same handbook as everybody else, but.
Right.
Then it is a group decision
Sure.
and your. Performance, if you're gonna discuss performance of any one of the department heads, they have to be informed ahead of time. And they have to be given the option of going into closed meeting.
Sure.
So you can't just, talk about it without getting them warning and offering them. a vote.
So we could follow the same procedures. that
Yeah, all this is,
Kind of.
yeah, same, but there's just that performance thing you can't talk about. Well, you can, you have to have permission.
Motion's on the floor to accept those changes. Is there any other discussion, any other changes? I had one on the injury.
An injury report?
Yeah. Like,
Report of injury,
yeah.
page
okay,
9.
10. I mean, it's. Who suffers a work-related injury shall report the injury immediately and will be provided with first aid and medical. That's all great, but, doesn't say anything about a report filled out. So I mean, we need to me, we should have some type of report filled out in case. Something comes back to us later. And they said, well, I got injured and it never got filled out, so. And it actually will protect the employee too, because then there's something stating that something happened on the job.
Yeah, the check boxes in my last page of mine too. Could
Was
almost
it in
be,
there?
could almost be used for that. We need to pick out a couple of them, but. Checkbox one, describe the incident and date.
Yes.
Does our work comp have an online portal that you can report
Yeah.
injuries? Because that should be like
MML.
Yeah.
standard operating procedure,
there
I
you go.
would think every injury, whether it requires medical treatment or not, just gets logged.
I just didn't like that one sentence description, in case
Yeah.
somebody's hurt, what do you do? Oh, I cut my arm off, well, hey, I cut my arm off, well, that's all we gotta do, it's like, oh, there's gotta be more involved, so. So, yes, I mean, we can adjust that too. But, I reviewed it. That was what I think, so. Any other discussions or questions? Okay, so motion on the floor is to accept Randy's adjustments with his co-pilot.
Second, if that hasn't been seconded.
It was second, yes. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is carried. Now, gotta be close to being done.
Okay, so the master plan result or the Michigan Association of Planning, that's just for your information. This was a free thing that they called and asked Rob and I a bunch of questions and then they analyzed what we need to do. She's obviously aware that we're doing a new master plan, so that kind of goes out the window. So, but it's just for your information. It was free. Kind of one of those things that just kind of keeps you on track of what you should be doing. That's nothing to do with that.
Friday after Christmas is on the agenda.
Yep, that, I think.
What about Rob's? Was Rob on there?
Oh, that's in the other.
That's another.
So. The. Christmas is on a Thursday. So,
25th, you were asking for the 26th off.
yeah,
We'll give the 26th.
I'll second.
I will second that.
Second and third, 24th. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved. Now,
Do we? I'm not 100%, I'm on board with it, but don't we like pre-approve those like a year ago? Didn't we already do that?
we,
thought we did.
those are our regular days off. That you approve every year,
Okay.
but at this normal day, this is an extra day because. It landed on a Thursday, so
They have to
normally-
come back to town if they're out of town.
it was kind of one of those things that.
And everybody's gone.
So when we
at that time.
approve the holidays days for the year ahead, it's just the day.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just like we,
We'll
it's the
pay
same
time off.
things,
This is
yeah,
off. We will take our time.
yeah, this is paid, that, this is
vacation
not paid
time.
time. Those are all paid time,
It's just for closing the office
yes,
for the
yeah,
city.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, you guys aren't getting, you don't get paid.
Well, we use our
We use
vacation.
We'll use our, yeah, we'll use our time,
This is like covering for like the other year when
I know.
you guys had the day off.
yes, when Alex got
and
fired.
they yes. This is just them covering the,
So I don't call them up
In
and tell them.
advance.
Yeah, I don't get called in
yes,
middle of the week
so.
after we already.
All right. One of the things that I did ask, and I know they've come in before, is if people have something to complain or discuss, to keep a log. That's why you guys see this on the thing. So it's just looking at things so we can see what's going on and address things that are being missed, or looking at things and just making sure that, people don't hold a grudge and make something, other things up. But if you guys read the letter, they were at the cemetery, they didn't appreciate the way it looked, it was neglected. The mowing, and they did take pictures, so.
This was just emailed to me
It was emailed to you.
and asked to be put on the agenda.
Yep, so I am obliging and it's on the agenda, and just if you guys can look at it, we can look at the pictures and.
Has Dave seen these or has he
Have you
blindsided?
seen
by
these? No. Okay. So it's a blindside day.
So when these complaints
usually
come in, are they shared with the department head? So they can be resolved? Or does it wait until city council meeting?
Usually,
Yeah,
well,
like
what we
results.
just talked about is putting it in a binder, then I'll come in and I'll look at it, and if I see something, then I can go find them and talk to them, and then we'll. Bring it to the board, so you guys know what's going on, but that way I can get it
yeah.
resolved beforehand, instead of waiting. A month, that way, I can just like, for this, I was like, hey, we just need to get this, we need any help, if. Machine's broken, and I don't know about, I was like, all right, well, the machine's broken, so. then we can get that thing fixed and.
And maybe changing a letter of complaint to a letter of concern,
Yes,
you know, 'cause someone might just have
I'm sure.
complaints and really
Strong word.
strong
It
words.
is a very strong word.
And some might be. But for a department head not to know about it
Right, and,
until a city council meeting, I think they need to be aware.
no, I agree.
And maybe they need to be checking the log, if they know there's a log.
Yeah, and that would not be a bad thing either, just if, I don't know if we have a binder yet or not.
Yeah, well, it's on mine too.
Okay.
It's on our server.
How do we ensure that these things are taken care of, I guess, like if it's a warranted, something that warrants a response, I feel like there should be checks and balances to
It
make
would, I
sure.
mean, it'd be a follow-up with the, like, Dave would follow up with his staff, or I would go follow up with Dave, and just to make sure that, you know, there's gotta be a follow-up with someone, maybe the committee head, which would be me right now, in DPW, so I would just look at this, hey, Dave, you see these things? Then he can discuss it with his staff.
And then does someone reach out to this person that wrote the letter?
Yeah, I mean, what I would do is, once we get it cut down, I would take a picture of it and have him send it back to us, if we did take care of it, thank you for bringing that to our attention. It did slip through the cracks, but we will make sure we're on top of it more. So just, I mean, something simple like that, and then we just know we need to be better at doing
It slip through the gravestones, like I said.
it, literally.
Is there a law, the log that you have, is there a spot that the department head would initial that they've seen it? And a date?
We were just told to take the calls and put them in a
Yep.
complaint box.
Which I mean, that's,
I like that idea.
yeah, that way we know.
Just so then you know that there's follow through and that.
And I think at the department meeting, if the city council chair could ensure that those things have been addressed, and if not,
We
So
can bring
you
up
want
committees.
every,
I mean, that way, like,
on every committee then. Yeah, I mean,
well, we just need one book and just bring it in whenever we have committed, so. Because I'm sadly to say Dave's gonna get most of them because he's what's out there. I mean, we may get some complaints about our staff being rude inside. Well, you know, I mean, that's something that we can handle. Dave's gonna get most of them because that's what's being seen the most. So, I mean, it's just a kind of a given thing, but. I mean,
It's the one thing that taxes
okay,
are there for
so,
city services.
Yeah.
And DPW is the biggest,
service
it is the
provider.
city service.
how often are these weed whacked, Dave? I mean, is there a reason why it got so long in these pictures?
3 times a year.
3 times a year?
we're just gonna,
And it literally takes 4 of us a week to weed whack that. Oh, there was a lot of snow.
Right.
And I had one guy that was off.
Yeah,
for
fine. I'll take it. We're done.
8 weeks, had hip
Yeah.
replacements.
yeah, there's more informational.
Or you're in a week.
Takes a while.
So, you know, but if they would have just asked, I'd
I've been-
if I'd have known, I'd have told them, more. It is on our schedule to get weed whacked, so.
And I mean, if you look at the picture, it looks like it was just mowed, so maybe they just didn't get weed whacked, but they're all
That's
weeds,
true.
but
And
I
that,
know weeds grow fast right now.
correct, but that makes it harder when
You just
the
know
mower gets mowed way more than the weed whack does, because
Yes.
they're out there every day.
So. All right, Jody's gotta take
I
off,
have to
so
excuse myself.
we're okay with that. So just to let you guys know, so that the binder will be out there and we'll add some things to it. So any more suggestions are always welcome to it, so we can, you know, just follow up on things and do what we can to make things better in the long run, so. Anybody have any questions on that portion? So then we can always follow up to make sure things are getting done too, and Dave can't be out there all the time either, so. I'm sure that we can help them out as much as we can. Okay, see this too. All right,
Did she not say that this isn't the first time?
I think she
I
did
have
say that in there.
got it in front of me now. I have moved my page, but.
This was not a one-time occurrence either. During the visit of 2023, 2024, also found maintenance to be lacking.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Another visitor was doing their own weed whacking.
So we'll stay on top of it more and make sure. it gets
And
done
there
better.
are some out there that have asked us not to weed whack the lawn, and they do it themselves.
Oh, they have?
Yeah.
Fluorescent orange marking paint.
There we go.
Who, I'm looking at the complaint log now, the flag, who sets that at half mast?
Usually it's DPW, isn't it?
Yes.
So. Obviously that was missed,
Yes.
so.
Is it the state that makes that determination?
Not always, but this time the governor.
Yeah, the governor ordered it though.
Yeah, unless it's presidential and governor, we don't. Yes.
But this one was, right?
This was, the governor ordered it down for the shooting,
With the church.
and then, yeah. So we need to get on, we need to stay on top of that stuff too.
9/11 is probably a recurring.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, that
the
one.
first one.
Oh, it's,
It wasn't at half mast on,
There's a complaint from 9/11.
I did.
Yeah.
But it was in one of my other three meetings.
We get, I don't think.
Yes.
oh, that's actually
I went back and looked at it.
over October 2nd.
so we need to stand that, so if you guys see it, just text me, or you can text Dave directly, and he can send one of his pieces up to get them done,
No,
so. We can make sure it's done, so if we see it, we'll text you, or that way you can have
Yeah, that's fine.
one of your boys or ladies take care of it and get it done, so. But we don't really want that image going on in the city. So. We can all get better at that as well. Any other questions on the complaint page? We will get them a lot, we'll just make sure we do better and help Dave. All right, moving on, building department reports.
I think there's 24 permits. About 25, 35.
Remind you, we're paying them 10,000.
Yeah. I mean, that covers this quarter.
Yeah, that's a profit of $28 a year.
All right, you know, I mean, because we're not looking at making a lot of money on those things, so that's okay.
But it actually is good, Doug. I mean, I think it was certainly a jaw-dropping thing, right, when paid $10,000.
Right,
And
but
hopefully that continues. I don't know if that's right.
Hopefully be self-sustaining.
Yeah,
and I will say it turnaround is faster than what it was before we had him.
And pleasant, sure. I think he's a
Yes, much,
good guy,
much nicer.
very pleasant.
Ladies like me empties the trash on those. So. But yeah, he's here, what, Wednesdays at what time?
Monday, to Wednesday.
Mondays to Wednesdays, so if you guys ever need to stop in and chat with him.
You don't call him on a phone.
Yes.
Just come in.
So. All right, any committees want to go through their reports? Good. LSW is good. Okay. Any other committee heads want to go through the reports?
LSW is purchasing a drone.
Sweet, for what?
For, depending on like fires, like when we had the one down in Shasberg where the barn caught fire and then the embers blew wind blew the embers into the woods, and then we had the woods fire. So we put up a drone to see where our fires are landing
Okay.
and the embers are starting. Also for like missing persons, we had an individual that was out at Sleepy Hollow State Park. He had been hunting, he shot himself. And unfortunately, we didn't get to him in time and he bled out. A couple weeks ago, we also had a hiker that went into cardiac arrest, so sometimes it's easier for us to get the drone up and try to find them versus trying to get through all those areas. If we have a missing person, we can bring that out for that. We already have people that are certified to drive them, fly them. So they have to have approval from the FAA, so they've already been through the training. So we have them, so the fire department's buying a drone in that. If you look at the fire report last month for the ambulance, you notice that they had a lot of calls. They had 73, but 22 of those were mutual aid calls. I have spoken with the DeWitt Township Fire Chief, who talked with Eaton Area Ambulance. And that seems to have corrected itself quite a bit. So our mutual aid calls are down. The mutual aid call surprisingly didn't affect any of our calls for service. It was in the downtime, But again, we don't want to be going on 22 mutual aid calls when our ambulance might need to be in use. So that problem's been addressed.
Okay. All right, what else we got?
Finance went over
Um.
finance, we went over the, Allen Edmond homes.
Should we dissect this more?
No.
No, we're gonna, I will stop that right now. So, just to let you guys know, I'm looking at switching committees, so moving you guys around a little bit. I think it'll be 1 year next month, so. I like the idea of different eyes on different things. If you guys are really, really happy with one thing and you're clicking, let me know, and I'll try not to do that, but I like to kind of mix it up, or if you want to get off one and have one you want to try to get on to, let me know, so. So I have an idea of what I want to do right now, but I'll wait for some feedback from everybody, but, I like change. Some people don't, different eyes, different thoughts, different ways of looking at things, so.
I have spent a lot of time, training for planning
You
commission.
already told him.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I said. Nope, can't take him. He's already there.
It wasn't likely. So. All right, anything else? Any other topics or ideas or thoughts?
Oh, we got the grant money for the tree.
Nice.
That's a
That came through.
good way to
Thank you.
positively end the meeting.
And I get to,
Yeah.
I get to ask for money for the planning commission
Sweet.
at the end of the month, so we'll get a check for that. So,
Just prepare yourselves for the planning commission to come back with a lot of stuff we're gonna add into it.
it'll be all pretty and
Yes.
perfect, and we'll just go, yep. Yep.
We're gonna bring cots in here for our next meeting.
Spicer Group
Almost nights.
That's
grant
Yeah.
covered
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Stations.
That's where the.
Oh, yes.
Money.
One last thing, if you guys do come in and there's a committee going on, try not to walk up here, but it distracts people, try to sit over there, and then if you notice that there's conversations, try to go out in the hallway if you're not part of that committee, go out in the hallway and have that discussion to avoid distractions as well. I've seen it a couple of times, so just try to keep that in mind, that we want to make sure that focuses who's at the table talking. So, other than that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Oh, and the drone, half of it's being paid by the firefighters association.
Oh.
And the other half by the fire, so we're splitting it off.
I'm the fourth.
It needs me, I can't help it.
Oh, that's.
What,
Thermal imaging.
Oh, I was gonna say, there's the normal.
Yeah, so that.
Our fight something today, man. Yeah.
Final